Hi, I'm Jeff Hoyt, Editor-in-Chief of SeniorLiving.Org. Today I'm speaking with attorney Eric Olsen about how seniors can avoid paying overdraft fees. Eric is an expert on this topic, as he's the founder of the Helps nonprofit law firm, which serves senior citizens, veterans, and disabled persons struggling with debt. Based on his vast experience and knowledge, Eric will reveal which is better for seniors, a bank or a credit union, and talk about a new law that may allow seniors to avoid both. As Eric is in Salem, Oregon, and I'm in Los Angeles, we'll be conducting the interview online via Zoom. Hi, it's Jeff Hoyt, Editor-in-Chief of SeniorLiving.Org, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Eric Olsen. Eric is an attorney, and he's the Executive Director of the Helps nonprofit law firm, which helps seniors and others who are struggling with debt. Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Jeff. Doing great.
Good. I wanted to talk to you about banks and credit unions. So first off, from a senior's perspective, what's the difference? And is one better for a senior than the other?
Okay, banks are for-profit, credit unions are nonprofit. So credit unions advertise that their costs are less, they can have lower interest rates. Although in reality, both are pretty competitive. Both have laws that protect deposits. Credit unions might have a little bit more personal attention than a bank. Credit unions are cooperatives. When you join a credit union, you're actually a quote, a voting member. Credit unions are usually started by like teachers or government workers or mill workers, or they'll form a credit union. And nowadays, they're pretty much open to anyone who wants to be part of their organization. The difference, I guess, is banks are a little bit more tech savvy. They're more astute on the law than credit unions are. Credit unions aren't up on the law as much as banks are. And if a person were going to owe money, it'd be better to owe money to a bank than it would be a credit union. Credit unions take things personally, and they can be a little bit more aggressive than a bank would be.
By aggressive, you mean they could kick you out of the credit union if you're not paying back a loan, let's say?
Oh, they'll do that automatically. I guess this is the one important thing to know about a credit union that's different than a bank that people don't realize, is that if you got a car loan from a credit union, and then you happen to have another loan with them, a credit card or some other loan, or you got one later, I always used to tell people, credit unions go to a different state. They all go to the same stationery store. And that stationery store has a form that says when you borrow money from a credit union for a loan, any other loan you have with that credit union is secured by any collateral that you have on that loan that's secured. So if you have a car loan and you owe $10,000 on the car, and then you owe $5,000 on a credit card, you owe $15,000 on that car. Credit union doesn't have to give you the title until you pay both. So if you defaulted on the credit card debt and you tried to pay off your car, they'd gladly take your $10,000, but they're not going to give you a title till you pay the $5,000. Banks don't have that form. Credit unions do. Sometimes they'll use that to intimidate people to trying to pay a debt because they, you got to pay this, else we're not going to give you this title. So that's one important thing, that a difference between credit unions and banks.
And is that what they call cross-collateralization?
Yeah, cross-collateralization agreement. There's a lot of questions how enforceable that is, but and whether it is enforced by credit unions. But yeah, they use it all the time as a way to make sure people pay their debts and not release a title to something as long as there's other debts that are in default. So if you got another debt and you're current on it and you pay your car off, yeah, the credit union should give you your title. But if they suspected you weren't going to pay that other debt, or you're behind on it, they're not going to give you the title until it's dealt with.
And then people who get pensions may deposit it in a bank or a credit union, but I understand there's a new law that there's a new way one can get their pension payments.
Yeah, a lot of people may decide they don't need a bank or credit union. I think that's where we're heading. Right now, if you have Social Security, you can get it deposited on a debit card through a company called Direct Express. As of January 1st, there's a law that mandates that pensions can be directly deposited into your bank account instead of getting a paper check or onto a debit card. And maybe you want to add the link at the end of this video about that. It's brand new. I think it's a wonderful idea for a lot of different reasons. And if you can get your pension and your Social Security on a debit card, and you don't like your bank and you have a problem with a bank account, you probably don't need a bank account because nowadays you can pay almost anything through a debit card.
And so one of the reasons people may not be happy with their bank or a credit union is due to having overdraft and other bank fees. So what happens if I make a mistake in my account and I have to pay an overdraft fee? Is that it? Is it done, or do I have any recourse?
No, you do have recourse. First off, banks and credit unions advertise, they pay a lot of money to get a good customer, and they want to keep their good customers. So the bank manager or someone in the bank has the authority to waive a overdraft fee, and they do it all the time, but they're never going to do it unless you ask about it. So if you're a senior and you're poor and you're lower income and something happened that you fouled up, you can call the bank manager and give the reason why and explain, if I can't get this waived, I'm not going to be able to pay my medicines, and I'll be short of my food, and they're probably going to waive the fee for you. Now, if you can't do that every month, and it's their discretion whether you do it or not, but if they turned you down and you got a good case, you say, can I talk to someone else? Okay. A squeaky wheel gets the grease. Okay. A lot of times seniors have an overdraft that's really no fault of their own. It's just something that happened. It's something that's unusual. And if they don't turn you down and they charge the overdraft fee, I'd vote with my feet and my money and go somewhere else. You don't have to stay there. And if you had an ongoing problem that way, which some people do, then you need to get your Social Security on a Direct Express card and your pension on one of these new cards that is effective on January 1st. So you don't even need to worry about a bank anymore.
I see. And then when you vote with your feet, there are also some banks that have special checking accounts or bank accounts for seniors.
Yeah, right. And maybe they'll put a link at the end of this. There's some banks that offer that. And once again, it's advertising to try to get your business. You bet. There's some that are better than others, but overdraft can be prevented, and or it can be waived. There's some in the bank that has that authority, and but when you call them, have all your information there: your name, your birth date, your Social Security number, your account number, your story, and you be really nice or cry or whatever. I mean, if you're poor and if your income's $1,000 and you got $150 overdraft charges, I mean, that can be a major situation, and you need to let them know that.
And I've heard stories about certain bills hitting the wrong way or checks at the wrong time, and that one overdraft fee leads to 5 overdraft fees.
Banks make a lot of money, and credit unions do, on overdrafts charges, and they're not going to tell you about this, and you've got to ask them to get it waived.
So the Helps nonprofit law firm, can you tell me a little bit about how you help seniors who are struggling with debt?
So what we do is Helps represents lower income and poor seniors on Social Security, pension, disability. That income is protected by federal law. It doesn't need to be used to pay debt you can't afford to pay. And under federal law, if you're represented by an attorney, debt collectors have to leave you alone. So people that contact us, enroll on a program, we send a letter to the collectors they owe money to, explain that this debt, the senior can't afford to pay it, and to contact us instead of them. And the contact can dry up virtually immediately. We represent people ongoing, so we're their attorneys so that they never have to deal with debt collectors ever again. We also educate them how to maintain their financial independence. And that's one reason I know about overdraft, we can tell them, hey, this is what you need to do if you got an overdraft fee to get that waived. We do a lot of things to help seniors so that they can maintain their financial independence.
Well, I appreciate you educating seniors today who are watching this video. How can interested seniors or people who are worried about their parents, how can they contact the HELPS nonprofit law firm?
Our toll-free number is 855-HELPS, HELPS US. And our website is www.helpsishere, like help is here, but help with an S on the end. And they can get on our website. They can spend hours on it. We've got probably hundreds of articles, and we have a YouTube page with many videos on different topics. And they can always call with questions as often as they need to. And the most important thing we tell our clients is, when they enroll in HELPS, we're always there. If they ever have a question or concern, they can call us no matter how often. And the most common thing we hear is, HELPS brought peace back to my life.
Great. Well, hopefully I'll be telling you some stories about our viewers who you helped. So really appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time, Eric.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.